All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. And it is February 23rd, 2025. And we are going to start this with a video. I am going to share screen. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
It's crazy now. I mean, looking so crazy now. Never been the same now. It's so crazy now. And Lord's got me hoping the same now. You kids got me hoping the same now. It's so crazy now. It's got me looking so crazy now.
Okay. That song was fitting. I was crazy last year. And but not too crazy. Because this is the date of using my power to block Ronald. How did I do that? And so just a quick review that we are not celebrating the pagan holidays. Valentine's Day was kind of challenging, with the candy in the store and all their decorations, but, I got through that. Not even getting a special meal or anything like that because it's Valentine's Day, and made it through that one. So all the mind traps, getting myself out of them, freeing myself, and I am free. And so, um, I want to do this review here. I'm sharing my story, and I've been led to do such a thing, and I'm sharing it from last year and what was going on and the things that were happening. And so, um, the summer of 23, I started this thing where I got this message, got a guy friend, mystery man, podcaster, guy at Wendy's, Alex. This takes me down a journey that leads me to Ronald. Ronald had all kinds of signs, like he wanted something with me. I said that it would be the person to pursue me. And he said that I was worth crossing oceans for. I had claimed this affirmation that I was worth crossing oceans for. He also had a beard. The podcaster had this beard. I went through this trauma healing from that. And uh, another thing is that his story was different, and that I got from the guy at Wendy's. And then he also bought into the conspiracies. I had said that I wanted someone who was on that wavelength with me with some of the conspiracies. And then um, he he said that he would be this man for my son. I wasn't going to ask somebody to be this man for my son. Ronald agreed to it. He said he was the one to be the man for my son. And um let's see, there was his mother's birthday, which was 50 years after I left him. Those other things, I was like, he's a needle in a haystack kind of thing. Then I got to after his mother's birthday thing and the Ronald thing, because my former husband was accidentally cremated, and the guy's name was Ronald Quinton, and Ronald wasn't even his real name. It's his middle name. And we had agreed, because he has an African name, and we had agreed that we would call him Ronald. And so when I got to January, the middle of January, reflecting back to the year before, and realized that that person's name was Ronald Quinton, it was just another coincidence that I was at this point like, this is just mathematically impossible that I'm not supposed to be dealing with this guy. And so I proposed to him after we had made an agreement in December about a marriage visa. I proposed to him on the 1st. And then there was my family, and especially my mother, who was a little bit in a thing because of this relationship I was in. And we sat down and we talked on my birthday, and we made some agreements. And one of those agreements was that we were not to talk about Ronald. She didn't want to hear about Ronald, and we weren't to talk about Ronald. So we had this agreement that Ronald was out. We weren't going to speak about him. And throughout January, after the proposal and stuff, Ronald started this backing off, not sending messages in the morning, and just not being as available. And that continued on throughout February as well. And sometimes just not even getting any kind of messages from him by morning time. And then there was the message on my birthday that he had posted on Facebook about wanting to be adopted. And I had commented on there, I don't know about adoption, but what about taking me on? And he said, anytime, baby. But something happened with those comments, and that was that I couldn't see all of them. It said there was like 5 or 6 comments on there, but I was only seeing his and mine and one other. And so I started actually backing off of Facebook and not, being obsessive and, watching him or whatever. And just, trying to figure out what was going on and just really working on myself and, self-reflecting on myself and working on me and not being reactive kind of thing. But and Ronald had a lot of women followers. I had spoken to him about that in the beginning of the relationship, was about the women followers, and he just said he was a part of these friend groups online and these women would just follow him, and really it wasn't a big thing. But in January, I had gotten the suspicion that he was talking to someone else while I was trying to talk to him. But he said no and really pushed it off on me, being insecure. My former relationship turned out that the man was lying to me about a whole bunch of things, and that story will be shared later on. And Ronald and I also had this soul mate, twin flame kind of thing going on, that we just really connected together. We actually agreed that we had some sort of soul contract agreement together. So we consciously agreed that we had some sort of soul contract. So we're in this thing of soulmates, twin flames, and there were also a lot of other agreements that were made, and one of those was being honest. And so, you know, his backing off kind of stuff, he truly had said that it was his schooling for, he was doing schooling for computer programming and coding, and the distance. He said that, it was such such a distance that he just, wasn't able to give the time to it, that things would be different when he came here. Well, on February 22nd, Ronald went out and made a post on Facebook that I did end up seeing. And it was something like, he had a word and pointing to it like, I'll be with you where you are or whatever. But this post really got the vibe of shout out to all my lady friends. That was truly the vibe and the feeling that I got from it. And so I made another comment on this thing, and I don't recall what that comment was exactly, but it was just really kind of indicating that, we were kind of involved and stuff, that, you know, I'd be with him wherever, or whatever it was that I had said, but kind of, saying something among those lines and indicating that I was involved with him. And again, all of a sudden, I can't see these comments. And this was my morning of the 23rd, where I woke up and I could not see these comments again. And or maybe it was actually on the 22nd. I'm sorry. It was on the 22nd. And so all of a sudden I can't see these comments again. So this time I decided to call him out on it and said, "What's going on? This is the second time this has happened. What's going on? I can't see all these comments, because it felt like something was being hidden from me." And he ended up responding back and he sent me a video, a screenshot video going through and showing, I don't know. And he's saying, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know why the comments aren't being shown. I can't see. I made another post. I can't see it either. I don't know what's going on with this thing." And at the time, I was driving around doing DoorDash. So I'm like, okay. And so I accepted that. We said goodnight. He was going to bed. And so then when I got home, something just inquired in me to take another look at the video that he had sent me. And when I took a second look and truly looked at this video, there was a little icon that said, "Hidden by you." So I made a screenshot of that and circled it and sent it to him. And, he was asleep or whatever at the time. Really, I didn't know that he had lied to me. And we had made an agreement to be honest. And so all of a sudden, I started getting these messages about something going on, that he was hiding something, and on and on. I didn't know how to read into that exactly, but I did know that he had lied to me. And I also I was thinking that him and I were going to be done. So through the same group on Facebook, which was Awakened Souls for Dating and Relationships, I went out and I made two connections with two men on there. And we'll talk about that a little later. But I also took myself off of his Facebook. My comments that I had made, my likes that I had made on his post, I took them off. I think I only left one on. And I also got a message that soul contracts were up. So in the morning, on Ronald's side, in the morning, and this is the morning of, so this happened throughout my Thursday night, my Thursday afternoon. And so um, he woke up and he got all these messages from me. And he ended up responding back. And I got the message in my morning time, but his voice was groggy. And it was like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And his face was groggy. And he also had a niece that lived in his home. He still lived with his family, his parents, his younger sister and stuff. He was younger, he's 23. And he's going to school for computer programming, coding. It just, made sense. But he had this niece, and she was always like crying in the background. And she was really, and coughing too. And she was really crying and coughing, during this call, or this message that he was sending me. And one of the things that he said was that he didn't want to be public, which in a way made sense to me because I really hadn't been public about him on my Facebook, but he should have talked to me about it. And it appeared as though he was doing something a little shady, and we find out just how that goes. And so then he also said that I had nothing to worry about. He was right. I had nothing to worry about. And he also did show me the comments of these other women. There were two women, two comments that he ended up showing me because I demanded he to show me those comments. We were supposed to get married, he's supposed to come over here, and on and on. We were in this agreement kind of thing. We were in a lot of agreements. And so I demanded that he show me those comments, and he did. And with that, what I did was I had my daughter reach out to one of these women to inquire about their relationship. And later on, it was a couple hours later, but Ronald ended up finding out. My daughter had asked this woman not to say anything to Ronald, and she just acted like, hey, my mom's involved with this guy, and I'm just wondering what your guys' relationship is, and, blah, blah, blah. And so the woman ended up telling Ronald, and Ronald sent me a screenshot of their even conversation they were having, where she said, that woman's daughter that you're involved with contacted me, and that's weird. She thought it was weird, and which is kind of interesting. And so Ronald, confronted me about if I had my daughter reach out, to one of his people that he was friends with on Facebook. And I admitted to that. And I said, yeah, I did. I was honest. And he ended up saying that it was embarrassing and blah blah blah. He was embarrassed by it, and so he ended up shutting his Facebook account down, which is very interesting. It is very interesting because there was something else going on during this time that I found out later on about, which was another agreement that had been made and was being broken. See, my parents decided to take my daughter out for lunch. And while they were out, they asked my daughter about Ronald. And so she went to look up Ronald's Facebook account, but Ronald had shut it down. Isn't it amazing how things happen and how things work? I mean, and you know what? I was actually really glad that he had shut his Facebook account down and my parents didn't see it. And so, we ended up, me and Ronald ended up talking things out during this thing. We're supposed to be honest. I'm having my daughter reach out to one of his women, like, is this being, is this making me trust you? I mean, he's hiding comments, lying about it and everything. He denied that he hid them, but it was obvious by the icon that he hid those comments. And then he later backtracks and said, I was honest with you. I told you the truth. And so, there was just something inside of me that was just like, it can't be you, Alicia. It can't be you to end this. And so I asked Ronald, what do you want to do? Soul contracts are up. I got the message, soul contracts were up. And I said, do you want to end this? And he said, oh no, let's keep on going. And so we decided to keep on going and continue on and get through that. And the next day, we had a conversation about it when we had our weekly Saturday morning phone call. My Saturday morning, his Saturday early evening time. And so we talked about this, and I really communicated with him about how, he should, talk to me about, not wanting to be public, and that we just needed to work on the communication. And we just kind of went through this and talked about the situation. And so, I was just kind of like not quite sure. I mean, I was sure because of things that I was seeing as I was reviewing myself and my life. I was pretty sure I was meant to deal with Ronald, but as far as being with him, I wasn't quite sure about that. And that was when I utilized my power. And I said, Ronald is not coming here if he has BS going on. I wasn't quite sure. There's a distance thing, online thing, and I just wasn't quite sure. And later we find out why that was. But I decided to use my power, and I said, if he has this BS going on with other women and stuff, he is not coming here. And so, what is my learning lessons? One of my learning lessons from this experience is to trust myself. Because for me to continue the relationship, there was something I had to learn, and we will find that out later. Why I had to stay in this thing with him and what I learned from it. And another thing is trusting the process. I was going through a process with him, and truly trusting the process of things, because that's how life works, is there's a process to it. To get to a certain point, there's a process to it. And another thing is about breaking rules. You see, when rules are broken, anything goes. Don't think that I didn't let my mother get away with breaking the rule that we were not to talk about Ronald, but she goes behind my back to ask my daughter. Because we had also made an agreement of not talking about ideas of things. And see, I subtly told her later that I knew she had broken the rules. Anything goes when you break rules, boundaries. And later on, I let her know that they are going to tell us that the earth is flat. Because guess what? There's more land out there beyond the Antarctica ice wall. More problems, more things coming about. Who knows what's out there? Extraterrestrial, extra territories. Who knows? But, she just said, "Oh, I don't believe that." You know, that's okay. I'm not in that mess anymore. So it's no big deal to me. Anyhow, but that also goes for Ronald with breaking rules. That see, when rules are broken, anything goes. And I think he finds out later how breaking rules and not being honest can end up affecting you. And, lying is a soul violation. We're going to talk later on about lying. But lying is a soul violation. And when you lie to me, I don't deal well with that. And I've taught many people lessons by lying to me. And we'll talk about some of that at a later time. And, when I have to do something like, take myself off of a Facebook page or, have my daughter reach out to someone, that is just a telling sign. When you got to go through methods like that with someone, they are just not the one. But, maybe you do need to teach them a lesson. And so, at that point, I do need to be done with anyone, And so, might even include my own children, not to lie to me. And, later on this year, as I reflect back to the year of 2024, I think that people will find out about lying and being deceitful. Because I have a very, very interesting story when it comes to that, including with myself. And so, that's that. February 23rd of 24, when I utilized my power to block Ronald from coming here to be with me to the United States from Nigeria. And later we'll find out how that worked out. But, if you want to talk about what I have said here, you go ahead and do that. I would actually love nothing more than you to talk about me and what I have said here, good or bad. Because, I've already this year been showered with many fortunes. You cannot believe some of the things that have happened like that. Everything just aligns and works out. So thank you. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything that I have gained and everything that I am gaining in my life and things getting better in my life. And later on, you'll find out why that is. But I know that everybody loves me. Truly, I had a woman who hardly can speak English, seriously. And she saw me and she said, "My friend." And so people love me. They truly do. And, I'm going to announce here that I am in the process of working on my story from 2020 to the end of 2023. There is a lot to it, and I was hoping I could get it all out by the middle of March, but I do not foresee that being possible. But I will have 2020 and 2021, hopefully 2021, done by the middle of March, that I am going to release 2020 and 2021. And then I will work on getting 2022 out, hopefully by sometime in April, and 2023 in May. And so there's just a lot to it. And so I just want to have the thorough story and everything to it. And so I am going to release that. I don't know what happened here. I don't know how long that's been off. Hopefully it worked out. Anyhow, so that's that announcement. The links are in the description. I'm going to put those in the description, and I would love for you to like and share and subscribe to my videos and my YouTube channel. And the next date for my video will be in 1 week on March 1st. And this is the day, that will be the day of confirmation. That's right, confirmation. It's really good when you get confirmations about things. And we will talk about confirmation and what that was. And so I am going to share another video, another song. And this song was very fitting. This was a song that I sent Ronald, in fact, while we were going back and forth in our conversation. And so, let's see. Here we go.
The night, search the horizon, watching out for smoke and fire. You stay with come. You the only one, and so it began. One last breath, Feel the pull of gravity down in the depths. So you stay would come. You the only one. You stay would come. And you oh stop thinking
Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life.